Amy, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about Molly.
So Molly's 3. She is super happy. She's super laid back. She likes to do whatever everyone else is doing, pretty much. She likes to be out of the house. She complains if we stay in the house too much. She loves being around her sisters. She loves being at school. She's just a pretty much like happy-go-lucky kid.
I love that. And what is Molly's diagnosis?
She has a mutation on the GABRA2 gene.
Okay, and what sort of symptoms does that come with?
So when she was born, the first thing we noticed is she was super low tone. So she was floppy, for lack of a better term, and she's still very low tone. She also started having seizures at 5 months, which goes along with disorder. She has some breathing issues, probably most likely due to the low tone, and she's also developmentally delayed.
And through your eyes, what has been the biggest challenge accepting this diagnosis and taking care of Molly and the changes day to day?
I think the hardest part at first is like when, you're getting ready to have a baby, you have a picture of what things are going to look like, and then it doesn't. So you I read something once and it was like you have to erase the first chapter that you wrote for them, right? And you have to allow them to write their own book of who they are. And I think that was the hardest part of like reframing. Her life's going to look different than other kids, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's absolutely okay. At the diagnosis phase, was there any misdiagnosis that was going on? Was there a lot of confusion?
So at first, they thought that maybe she had a brain injury, just because it is a super rare disorder, so it's not something you're going to go to right off the bat. But we started genetic testing when she was in the NICU, so I think she was maybe like 5 days old when they performed the first test. And it took 1.5 years to get like the full answers. But there was always a possibility that it was something genetic, and that was something that we were monitoring.
Yeah. And the diagnosis came how long after the initial tests, I guess, right when she was born?
She was over 1 year old when we got, and I won't even say final because her testing, I think, says like likely pathological. But yeah, she was over 1 year old when we got that. There's a lot of steps because they had never seen her variant before. So they had to test my husband and I, and then we did a whole exome sequencing to see if there was anything else.
Yeah. And as a mother, how did you emotionally handle this entire process?
I mean, it's really, really hard at first when things don't go as planned. But once you start looking, there's a lot of kids out there that are disabled, and if you look to their parents about how they're dealing with it, that's really helpful.
Sorry. That's okay.
I would say we're in a really good spot now. We really focus on her quality of life. So every decision we make for her, it's just going to make her life better. And that's how we go with it.
Yeah. In your eyes, what is the value of community in finding others like you and others like Molly?
I mean, it's amazing because it gives you so many different perspectives of how to look at this lifestyle. Gives us different things, different kind of equipment that we might need for our house. There are not a lot of kids that look like her, so it's really nice to talk to other people that have been where we've been, can be like, oh, we've tried that. We like this. Even, I'll stop people that have kids in wheelchairs on the street and be like, what do you like about this wheelchair? Because there's not that much information about there.
Yeah. And they know what you're going through.
Yeah. And they've been, they can be like, well, this doesn't hook really well into the van. Or, we don't like the way this tilts. Like, their perspective is the best.
And it's those little things that make day-to-day life a little easier. Is there anything that you want to share about Molly to everyone out there, or just anything in general if they received or had a child that received a similar diagnosis?
I would say, there are definitely really hard parts about it, but her life is also really beautiful. And she's a really happy kid, and she's had so many experiences. So it's going to look different than what you thought it was going to be, but it's still going to be a really great life.
That's amazing. Amy, thank you for sharing your story and Molly's story.
Yeah, thank you.